It was just before dawn, the kind of hour when the world feels suspended between rest and routine, when news began to spread that stunned fans across generations. The reports were simple and restrained, offering few details and no spectacle, which somehow made the moment heavier. Catherine O'Hara, a woman whose presence had always felt vibrant and reassuring, was suddenly gone from the world she had filled with laughter for decades. There were no flashing cameras or staged farewells, only the stillness of a private home and the shock that followed. For someone so synonymous with joy, her departure felt almost unreal, like a scene cut too abruptly. The silence that followed was profound, not just because of what had ended, but because of how quietly it happened. In that absence, people began to realize how deeply she had been woven into their lives. The genius who made laughter feel safe Catherine O'Hara's gift was never just about being funny. It was about making humor feel human, warm, and oddly comforting, even at its most chaotic. From her early days in Canadian comedy to her global recognition, she possessed a rare ability to invite audiences in rather than perform at them. Her characters were exaggerated, sometimes absurd, yet always grounded in recognizable emotion. Whether she was playing a frantic mother, an eccentric artist, or a fallen socialite clinging to elegance, there was always a heartbeat beneath the comedy. She understood that laughter often comes from vulnerability, not perfection. That understanding shaped a career that lasted decades without ever feeling stale. People didn't just laugh at her performances, they trusted them. She became a familiar presence, someone audiences felt they knew, even though she herself remained carefully private. From Toronto kitchens to comedy history, long before fame, Catherine O'Hara learned the rhythm of humor in a crowded household in Toronto, where being heard meant being quick, clever, and expressive. That environment sharpened her instincts and taught her that comedy could be both defense and connection. Those instincts carried her into the demanding world of improvisation, where she thrived among future legends by disappearing completely into character. She was never interested in being the loudest voice in the room, only the truest one. That commitment to authenticity made her indispensable to ensembles and unforgettable in individual roles. She built her reputation quietly, performance by performance, without chasing celebrity for its own sake. By the time mainstream audiences discovered her, she was already fully formed as an artist. Fame did not create her confidence. It merely revealed what had been there all along, becoming a permanent part of memory. For many, Catherine O'Hara became timeless the moment she stepped into the role of a mother racing through airports, heartbroken and determined, calling out for her child. That performance lodged itself into popular culture in a way few ever do. Year after year, families returned to it, not just for nostalgia, but for reassurance. She embodied imperfection with love, stress with devotion, and panic with humor. Later roles only expanded that connection, proving her range without ever breaking the bond she had built with audiences. Even as styles changed and trends faded, her work endured because it was rooted in emotion rather than gimmick. She became a constant, someone people assumed would always be there. That assumption, more than anything, explains why her absence now feels so deeply unsettling. Strength hidden behind precision. Behind the ease she projected was an artist of immense discipline and sensitivity. Catherine O'Hara was known for her meticulous preparation and her insistence on getting things right, even when the audience would never notice the effort. Comedy, to her, was not casual. It required precision, timing, and emotional honesty. She carried that responsibility seriously, sometimes at great personal cost. Colleagues often spoke of her professionalism, her generosity on set, and her refusal to let personal strain affect the work. What she did not share publicly were the pressures that come with sustaining excellence over decades. She believed deeply in protecting others from her burdens, offering joy without asking for sympathy. That choice, admirable as it was, also meant that much of her inner world remained unseen, even by those who loved her work the most. A late renaissance that felt effortless. When Catherine O'Hara returned to the center of popular culture later in life, it felt less like a comeback and more like a revelation. Her portrayal of Moira Rose was fearless, layered, and entirely her own. She constructed the character with intention, from the voice to the posture to the emotional armor that defined her. Audiences responded instantly, sensing the depth behind the extravagance. The role was not just funny, it was oddly moving, especially for those who recognized the resilience beneath the vanity. This period of her career brought awards and acclaim, but more importantly, it affirmed something she had always known. Talent does not expire. Experience enriches it. She was not chasing relevance, she was expressing it. The world simply caught up to what she had been capable of all along. Grief that revealed the person beneath the icon. In the days following her passing, the most powerful tributes did not come from headlines or ceremonies, but from individuals who spoke of her kindness and quiet influence. Among them were people who had worked with her early in their own lives, describing her not as a legend, but as a steady presence who offered reassurance without expectation. Their words revealed a woman who listened more than she spoke, who nurtured without claiming credit. These reflections shifted the narrative from loss of a performer to loss of a person. They reminded the world that her greatest roles were often played off camera, in moments of guidance, patience, and care. The grief felt so personal because, in many ways, it was. She had made room for others, and that absence now echoed loudly. The cost of always giving light. Catherine O'Hara's story invites a difficult but necessary reflection on how society consumes joy. Performers like her are often expected to be endlessly available, eternally vibrant, and unaffected by time or strain. She fulfilled that expectation with grace, rarely revealing fatigue or fear. In doing so, she protected her audience from discomfort, but perhaps also from awareness. Her life reminds us that brilliance does not negate vulnerability. The laughter she provided was real, but so was the effort behind it. Recognizing that does not diminish her legacy, it deepens it. It allows us to appreciate not just what she gave, but what it took to give it. In honoring her, there is an opportunity to look more closely at the people who bring us joy and ask how we can listen better. A legacy that lives beyond applause. Catherine O'Hara leaves behind more than a body of work. She leaves a model of integrity, restraint, and devotion to craft. Her legacy is not defined solely by iconic characters, but by the consistency with which she chose substance over spectacle. She showed that it is possible to succeed without surrendering oneself entirely to noise, and that privacy can coexist with generosity. The laughter she gave the world will continue to echo through screens and memories, but her deeper gift was showing how to live thoughtfully within fame. As the curtain falls on her story, what remains is gratitude. Gratitude for the moments she shared, the joy she created, and the humanity she preserved. She did not simply entertain us. She reminded us what it looks like to give fully and quietly to the very end.